What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bob and Weave. We're coming at you live, sort of live on tape, for our coronavirus catch-up episode. I am
Live on tape.
Yeah, we're live on tape, and that sultry voice you hear. I'm Bob Ruff, and that sultry voice you just heard there is, of course, the great and powerful Zach Weaver.
Hey guys, it's me again.
Hey,
I'm not gonna lie here. We're gonna get way off topic real quick. I almost shit myself like 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm lactose intolerant and I love ice cream. So got me. Quarantine style.
You know, this quarantine has made it so it's a new normal, and now apparently you tell thousands of people about your bowel movements that are unexpected.
Yeah, it's all right.
I woke up.
They'll get a laugh out of it.
Yeah, I woke up. Before we start, I don't know if you made yourself a drink, but it's nighttime when we're recording this, so I'm having myself an ice cold Busch Light. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Busch Light.
Why?
It's so good. This is all I do, Zach. I've been working out, though. For those of you that were wondering from the last episode, I have been working out.
I have a Tito's and Sprite right now.
Sounds healthier.
Yeah, it's delicious. So you've been working out. That's good.
Yep, I haven't been doing as much cardio as I'd like to do, but I've been lifting weights like 6 days a week. I've been taking 1 day a week off, but I've been lifting weights. A few listeners have messaged me on social media, called me a fat ass.
Thank you guys. We appreciate that.
Yep. There's something really loud just happened. I realized that my heater just turned on. Hang on. There we go. Sounded like there was a jet engine in the studio.
Just boom. Good to go.
Well, yeah. So life's changed because of the coronavirus. For those of you that are watching, Zach, you can't see right now, but I'm currently sporting my Stormy Cromer hat because that's the life that I've been living. Do you know what a Stormy Cromer hat is?
I have no idea what that is.
So do you have your phone or anything in front of you?
I have my computer in front of me.
Okay, so if you look up a Cromer, Kromer, it's like a classic Michigan outdoors hat from like the turn of the 19th century or 18th century, whatever.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah,
yes. Your wife.
Your
wife posted this on social media.
Yes, she hates my Cromer hat, but I've dug the Cromer hat out. While I've been doing some turkey hunting with the kids. Like we're just doing like anything to have something to do. You know, Quentin and I spent this entire weekend out turkey hunting. We did not get a turkey, but we spent a lot of time sitting in the woods and making fake turkey calls. I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't worn real pants other than sweatpants or hunting pants in, I don't know, 2 weeks.
Yeah, I actually have worn real pants, but it was just to try to impress my wife. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trying to have a little sexy time.
Trying to have some sexy time.
You know, it's so bad. Like I don't even give a fuck anymore, dude. Like I like I'll be sitting here and like I need to go to the store for something, which is a whole nother experience we'll talk about in a second. But and I'll be sitting there wearing like and by the way, when I say sweat, I have like a favorite pair of sweatpants or like a really old pair of Under Armour sweatpants. And
okay.
So I'm not wearing like different sweatpants every day. Like it's the same pair of pants. Like I change my shirt daily because like that's how I feel clean. I change my underwear most of the time, most days. And then it's like socks, underwear, and shirt get changed semi-regularly. But the sweatpants are just the same. And I'll be sitting there like wearing a shirt that I worked out within the morning that's sweaty and nasty and doesn't fit me right, and my nasty, dirty sweatpants that have like hot wing sauce wiped on them. I think I wiped some boogers on one side of them. Like, it's and I'm like, I need to go to the store. And I'm like, oh, I guess I could get cleaned up and get dressed, or fuck it, and I just go to the store like this.
Yeah,
like,
see, I was imagining you wearing like those like gray Costco sweatpants.
Oh, with the tight bottoms, like around the ankles.
The tight bottom, yes, those.
No, these are cool sweatpants. They're Under Armour. They're black. They're They're like open bottoms. I mean, it's the kind of cool sweatpants you'd wear if you were going to wear sweatpants.
Gotcha.
But dude, that's all I like. So like I feel accomplished in the morning if I get up and I brush my teeth. Like that's a win for starters. Which
Yeah.
by the way, speaking of teeth, so I think I've mentioned on the show before that I got invisible aligners.
Yeah, and you hate them?
Yeah, well, I got used to them, but you
Yeah.
know they're a pain in the ass. You got to take them out every time you eat and clean them and brush your teeth. But the lockdown began the day before I had an orthodontist appointment. So the way it works is they give you 10 trays at a time. So the trays you click into your teeth, and you wear them for a week, and so it's for 10 weeks. Every week you go to the next level to adjust your teeth. Well, I was on day 6 of my last set of trays, and I was supposed to go back the next day, and they had to do a little bit of work on my teeth, whatever, and then give me my next 10, and then they shut everything down. So that was back in March, like March 23rd, something like that, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I was supposed to be out of those trays on the 24th of March and into the next one. They're not made to be worn very long. Besides the fact that your teeth have already moved, they don't need to move anymore. They start to degrade, and they get like almost mushy. The plastic.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and you clean them and clean them and clean them, but I mean, there's little nooks and crannies that shit gets stuck in. So I'm now like 6-7 weeks into this set of trays, and it's absolutely miserable. I'm pissed off, number one, because it's setting me back, a month or two in my whole procedure, because I couldn't move up to the next one. The trays are gross. So like that's like the highlight of my day is when I get up in the morning and I take those nasty trays out of my teeth and I scrub them with vinegar to try to keep everything out. And I brush my teeth and then maybe put some deodorant on and then throw a shirt on and throw some sweatpants on, maybe some new underwear, and then start my day. That's my hygiene routine now.
That's pretty miserable.
Yeah. You know what? You get used to it though. It is like they say a new normal. Like that's just what I do now. I think if someone saw me like walk into the local grocery store wearing like blue jeans and a nice shirt with my hair combed, that they would probably freak out. Like, what happened? I mean, I just look like a total just piece of shit. Just look like a total piece of shit right now.
And that's good because you were on TV like 2 weeks ago.
I know. So funny. Today, I had to stop at the hardware store for something, and of course, I go in and it's everybody's keeping away from everyone. That's a whole weird experience. But then I ran into a guy I went to high school with, and all of a sudden I hear, and of course he's wearing a mask, and he's like, "Bobby Ruff, what's up, man? You're a big movie star right now, or you're a big movie star now, huh?" And I just look down. I'm like, just look at me. Do I look like a movie star to you right now? There's a cheese stain in the middle of my t-shirt that I'm wearing right now that I was in public with today. I don't know. I think I spilled some of Parker's macaroni and cheese on my shirt, and it's just there. And
oh, that's good.
Didn't warrant changing.
That's so good.
So what have you been up to? I saw you guys made snowmen the other day, or a snowman.
We did make a snowman, and then by the next morning,
the snow person,
a snow person. We made a snow person, and he didn't last very long. I mean, the weather around here has been crazy. We had enough snow and good snow. I mean, we probably had 1.5 inches of snow, and then literally by the next day, it was I was outside in shorts working on the yard.
Yeah. So this weekend, like I said, it was Saturday was the opener of turkey season. So, Saturday morning, I picked Quentin up. He was at his mom's, so I pick him up at 5:00 in the morning, and we head out to our, long hike out to where we're going to turkey hunt, and it's freezing. I mean, it was 24 degrees when we sat down. It didn't get much warmer when the sun came up. And then Sunday, the next day we go out, and it's like 45 degrees at the same time. And then it got up, but yesterday afternoon, we're outside in the sunshine, I mowed the grass yesterday.
I've been trying to mow the grass. My lawnmower's fighting me.
It doesn't want to start?
Yeah, it doesn't want to start. That's a whole nother story for another time.
Oh, you trying to mow down your dandelions?
I need to, bad.
That's why I had to move out of that neighborhood, because Zach's yard was embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
Speaking of yards, like you know how I am about my yard. You remember my yard there and how like
Oh yes.
I no weeds. I wanted watered, fertilized, green, luscious lawn. That's my thing. Mow nice little lines into it, and I
Mm-hmm.
can't get my sprinkler company or my fertilizer company out here because of the lockdown. And
The
so
corona.
I know the corona's ruining my fucking lawn. I already saw a dandelion today. I was out riding the side by side around with Parker, and I was like, "There's a fucking dandelion right in the middle of my yard. Son of a bitch."
Oh boy, it's going to hell.
Mm-hmm. No,
It's all
hopefully
going to hell.
this will be over with soon. So we have listeners. You put up a post in the Bob and We fan group for listeners to ask some Corona questions for us. So there's a lot of them. So we'll get to some of those. Before we do, I wanted to just kind of topical, a little more probably serious than this stuff that we have the questions about. I've Michigan. So you guys know, I think most of you know that we live in Michigan, and we are one of the states that's been on the national news for people doing protests about our governor. So I was wondering, we talked about this a little bit last week when we recorded Truth and Justice, but what are your feelings about the quarantine, the stay at home, the executive orders from our governor? I know this is not just a Michigan thing, but in Michigan, I've thought a little bit more about it since we talked. Then I'm just curious, but I never really got into what are your thoughts on all of this?
I'm really torn. Honestly, I'm really torn on the whole thing. I think the stay-at-home order is a good thing. To be 100% honest, I think it's a good thing. I think it's something we needed to do. It sucks. I'm out of work. I've been out of work since March 21st.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made a fucking dime. It sucks a lot. And I'm right there with these people. I understand that, it sucks. But I think it was the right thing to do. Now, with that being said, I think there are limitations in the stay-at-home order that are asinine, just absolutely asinine. The no fishing with a powered motor, that doesn't make any sense to me. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me. The not traveling to your own property doesn't make sense to me. I have a business that is a personal one-on-one business, and there is no way to stay apart. Now, it sucks that they closed us. I mean, what am I supposed to do? But I get it. There's no way to avoid personal contact in what I do. So with that being said, I mean, it's so tough. It really is tough. I think honestly, a lot of the stay-at-home stuff is good. Trying to keep people away, trying to keep people healthy, but I think there's a point where it can be overstepped.
Well, and I think that's where we're at because I'm with you. I don't like any of this. I don't, my kids don't like it. They were excited to have when they said that school was shut down for 2 weeks before spring break, they were thrilled. And then when they shut it down for the rest of the year, they were not so thrilled. It was just like, what the hell? They haven't, my daughter hasn't seen her boyfriend in weeks, and, Quentin hasn't seen his friends, and it's rough on him. But I supported it because, I'm certainly not a scientist. I don't understand all this stuff. And it seems to me that this is the steps we're taking were smart steps. At least I could see logic behind them, and I have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends like you personally. We're very close, and it's like it sucks. Like it bummed me out. You were the first person I thought of when they said they were shutting down all these businesses. It's like, God, that's Zach's livelihood. I have several friends who are hairstylists that are out of work. I mean, there's a lot, and I hate it, but there was a logic there that made sense to me, and people were for the most part adhering to the orders. And then came this most recent one where our governor, amongst other things. So there's some weird things. So one of them is, and the reason I'm bringing some of those up because I discussed it with some people on the fan group, on Facebook. But like the gardening supplies, lawn and garden supplies, seeds and rakes and shovels and everything. So part of the order is that you can't purchase any of those items at a store that has a floor plan greater than 50,000 square feet, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so first everybody thought that was, and myself included, Zach had to correct me on this last week, that like you couldn't buy seeds at all, which I was really pissed off about because, I'm trying to use this to teach my kids some new skills. I had Quentin out helping me rototill where we're going to plant a garden. And like I said, we've been doing hunting and fishing and all these things. So we're trying to get outdoors and do stuff outside. And it's some for some ways it's been a good experience with my kids because we've interacted more than we normally would, especially this time of year, and doing some cool stuff. But then we found out, well, it's only in the big stores. This is where I start to have the problem when you start to think about things. So, for example, the closest to me example to this is the Walmart. There's a Walmart that is not far from me. That's basically if I want to get any variety of items, that's where I'm going is to Walmart. You get groceries and everything else. Well, at Walmart, they've got barricaded off the lawn and garden section. They got barricaded off just certain parts of the store because their floor plan's too big. So now I have to go there anyway. I have to go there and this is where it doesn't make sense. So I have to go there, say, to get groceries. Now, if you go there to buy a Milky Way, you are going to interact. You're breathing the same air as all those hundreds of people. You're going through the checkout line. You're touching the carts. You're doing everything. Whether if you're just buying one item. So by my logic, is like if I'm there, I don't want to do that I don't want to go to multiple places, and do this all over again and deal with different checkout people and different credit card machines and blah 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 blah. So, I'd go there and I'd get my groceries and I need a new pack of underwear because I just don't feel like wearing the ones that I wore for 3 days in a row last week. And a couple things, and I'm trying to plant a garden. I'll get my seeds, but now because of this order. And the logic is they're saying, well, people have to clean those shelves, and there's a lot to be done. But the thing is, it's still happening. It's happening at the store right next door. There's a Tractor Supply company right next door. So literally, for me, I went and got all these items at Walmart. I interacted with all those people. I touched all these things. I checked out. You can buy a big screen TV on one side of the barricade, but on the other side of the barricade is, a rake that you're not allowed to buy because that's unsafe.
Yeah.
So then I leave and I drive across the way and go to a different store to go buy that rake or go buy those seeds. And now I'm interacting with a whole nother group of people and a whole nother set of things that I'm touching and all that. It just like that part. That's one of the more mild ones, but the logic there seems flawed to me on that one.
Yeah, I think the idea behind the whole thing is within good intention. I just think that it was a really flawed execution.
Yeah, well, and some of it is just straight up hypocritical, and this is where things get worse for me. And so like there was these protests in Lansing last week where people literally like took their cars and blocked downtown, and then of course people the media tried to say they were blocking hospitals, but literally there were people that drove around videoing, showing like, look, there's no problem with access to the hospitals. Still, people were not in the protests. We're not doing social distancing. They were too close to each other. It was ineffective. It was stupid. I would never do it. So I'm not advocating for them to do it. But when this order came down, I just want to point out that 4 days before this, I told my wife, people are going to fucking protest. Like, yeah. And it's a simple concept to me that you can only there was in church years ago, there was a guy, some guy that came in and did a special speech or whatever. But what I remember from what him saying is he was talking about control. And he's like, so if you take this cup of sand and you pour it into your hand, like you have your hand kind of cupped open, and he's like, look, if you're gentle with this, you can control this entire cup of sand. You can hold it in your hand and it doesn't spill on the floor. But if you make a fist and try to over control it and try to squeeze it, it spills out all over the place. And it's always stuck with me, and to me that's what's happening there. It was predictable human behavior that people were going to revolt because of things like the boating thing. So for those of you who don't know, part of our order was after she's told us, our governor, that we need to go outside and use this time to enjoy the fresh air. We have a beautiful state, especially it's a beautiful time of year in our state. But in this order, it says you can go fishing or boating if you have a kayak or a canoe or a raft. But if you have a motor, because so there's like flatback canoes where you put like a little motor on the back. If there's a motor on your canoe, you can't go out. That's unsafe.
So what do you think is the intention behind that?
Well, so I will say that there was some logic behind it. I disagree with it, but the logic was if there's a motor on your boat, that means now you have to stop at a gas station and you got to put gas in it. And there's something that could potentially break down. And they're trying to limit the number of people that are at the boat launches so people aren't congregating together. So that's what I've heard is the logic behind it. Here
Okay,
now,
which I mean, there's some sense there.
right? But let's start with the gas station. You know what has been deemed essential that people can buy anywhere right now in Michigan because it's essential is lottery tickets and
What? Really?
booze. Yes, lottery tickets, booze, cigarettes. Which I mean, these are addictive chemicals. Some of the things, but not. But let's say the lottery tickets. Of course, the lottery tickets are what is paying our governor's salary. You know, as part of the that not the only thing, but that money goes to the state. It's deemed open.
Yeah.
So by making where do people generally buy lottery tickets?
Gas stations.
Exactly. So by leaving those open, you're saying it's okay for people to go to the gas station where you have to go inside to buy lottery tickets, and it's for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because of the coronavirus or whatever's happening right now, but it seems like every time I go to a gas station right now, there's a line of people that are buying lottery tickets and going through. The people that like name off, give me 10 of these scratch offs, and they stand there and scratch them off, and then they cash those in and get more. Like I've seen that everywhere, but you've left something open that guarantees people have to go in face to face and touch items. Like the cashier has to pull it off the thing, rip it off, and hand it to you at the gas stations. But the boat, you can fill up your boat and pay at the pump. You're there anyway. You pull up. You can use your credit card right at the pump. Never have to interact with another human to put gas in it. So the things like this that start to cause the problems. Like you're telling me the reason I can't take my boat, that I have a little fishing boat. I can't take my kids fishing on that because it's too dangerous for me to go to a gas station. It's an excessive use of the gas station. But it's okay for Joe Blow down the street to go to that same gas station 10 times a week to buy lottery tickets. And that's where things start to break down. Especially the lottery ticket is a good example because it's something that the state directly benefits from. While
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, while people like you are out of work, your job, you don't get to make money. But they're like, oh, we're not going to shut this down because that's how we make money.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. Everything is so weird right now, and the protests, I get where the protesters are coming from. I mean, I definitely support their ideas. I think the protests were stupid.
It was. I
agree. To be
100%
honest.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. It was stupid, and but like I said when I was discussing with somebody on the fan page, it was stupid, but it was a predictable human response to what's happening. When you start,
100%.
When you start infringing on people's rights and you restrict their movements, you essentially what this order is. It's taking away your freedom. It was taking away your freedom when they told you couldn't work anymore. But it was justified. It was justifiable. At least, most people believe that it was justifiable. But this wasn't.
I agree.
And people, so like that control thing. So like the boats, all they need to do, which was what was in the previous executive order. And I have yet to see any reports where people were not adhering to this. There's been like generalities, but nobody because there's multiple sheriff's departments, county sheriff's departments in our state that have said they refuse to enforce this order. They won't do it.
Yeah. Well, I know multiple friends of mine who are law enforcement, and they have basically told me that they were given orders to leave people alone.
Yeah. Yeah, right here in our area. I also know a lot of cops that have said the same thing.
So, all right. Well, I'm done talking about this.
Let me finish this one point. What I was going to say, though, the culmination of this is things like the boating. What was in the old order prior to this one was that you're not allowed to have anybody on your boat that is not from your household. So I can get behind. I can make sense. I adhered to it. I used to fish with my brother a lot. After this happened, I didn't take my brother fishing with me anymore. I only fish with Becky and the kids. At boat launches, just like everywhere else, you're not supposed to be within 6 feet of people. Which, if you've ever, and people talk about a congregation, if you've ever been to a boat launch and launched a boat, you can't get it. It doesn't work like that. You're backing, there's your truck and your one little spot, you're backing it down, getting your boat off, and then you have to move away before the next truck can come in. But so, like, if all they said is, like, double down on that, like, listen, we're going to write you $1,000 tickets if you put people in your boat that aren't from your household, fine. Totally agree with that because it makes sense, and we police it. But by taking in, that's where people have had the issue, and like I said, the reason I want to talk about it a little bit here, and we'll move on from this now. But is because I've had discussions online, and people got people. That's what I love about our group, about the Bob and Weave fans, is there were some good discussions about it. People that disagreed with me. They're like, no, they think this makes sense, and there are people still that will believe that. I'm not changing anyone's mind, but that's where it's caused me to do a lot of thinking and really pin down the things like, okay, this is why I have a problem with it, because it's like the knee jerk reaction is I have a problem with this, and it caused me to look and say, okay, but why? Is it because you don't get to go fishing anymore and you don't get to go to your cabin anymore? But on a deeper issue, it's bothersome. But I think it's wrong. But that being said, I'm not going to go protest. I'm going to sit here and have my pity party with my Cromer hat and my bush light and my dirty underwear and make a fucking podcast.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So that's my little rant about our current state of the nation. I didn't realize that the same thing's been going on in other states. I just saw on the news this morning there was, and I think Pennsylvania and some other places, people are doing the same thing, same issues.
Yeah, there's a lot going on all over the country, and like I said, I think there's a lot of good that's happening. On both sides. I think there's a lot of good that's happening by staying in place. It's helping our health, but I also think there's the good by the people that are rejecting it. Mm-hmm. Meaning, I don't necessarily think they should be out doing these huge protests as they've been doing, but I think that we're standing up for ourselves, and I think that's important. Right. The problem is you always have those outliers. The same deal within Truth and Justice. Like right now in Truth and Justice, you're going through a call to action of trying to get people to reach out to Scott Ellington. Mm-hmm. Now, the mass of people are going to do what they need to do appropriately, but you're going to have that handful of assholes that are not going to do it right. They're going to go out, they're going to name call, they're going to go about things completely the wrong way and make it look bad for everybody. And that's what happens in these protests, is they've got people out there doing things that are just making it look bad for everybody.
That's a really good point, because that's part of what's frustrating for me is I feel the way that I've just explained that I feel about these things. Other people that maybe share some of the same viewpoints are out there making jackasses of themselves. And so like, I don't want to be attached to them. I'm not going to go do that. Like, I'm just upset about it, but I'm going to follow it, but I'm upset about it. But then, yeah, there are these outliers that are being dipshits, really.
Mm-hmm. That's really what's happening. So we're 25 minutes in. Let's get to some questions.
Okie dokie.
So basically, the first question we got, it's kind of along these same lines, comes from John Hayes. Mm-hmm. It says, and I'm going to read it here the way he wrote it. So, what are y'all's opinions on the balance between being safe and staying inside and the slow downturn of the economy? So I'm just going to stop it there and see what you think.
Well, I mean, we've talked about some. To be honest with you, and this is another. I don't want to get political on it because that's another hot topic. I have been very. I just turned my hat backwards. By the way, I never wear my hat backwards. but I noticed my hat was casting a shadow over my head, and this is a new me. New me wears his Cromer hat backwards on a podcast.
Oh boy!
But
Get serious.
There's been some encouraging things where people have come together. There's been some bipartisan stuff that's been pretty amazing that's happened, which I'd love to see. But then, man, there's still I've been really absent from social media lately because I just get so tired. Like everything there's the camp that everything Trump does is wonderful, and then there's the camp that everything that Trump does is horrible, and that stuff's really irritating me. But so with that being said, I think that obviously it's horrible. I think that the stay, to add to what we were just talking about, I think that these stay-at-home orders could be handled a little better in order to help with the economic crisis is not going to go away during this. But I think you can help with some of it. I think there are people that are shut down right now that don't need to be. Like, for example, one of the things in our executive order is lawn care workers aren't allowed to work, which is another thing that I think
silly.
Yeah, I think is ridiculous. Especially right now is like one of their busiest times a year. And it's a business that I mow my own grass. It doesn't affect me, but my neighbor owns a lawn care company. He has 40 employees that are now out of work, and he said, my guys, they have all their different trucks. They don't some of them work in teams, but for the most part, they travel themselves in a truck and a trailer, and they pull up and they pull their mower off and they do their thing. and everybody's driving separately. They never come into contact with each other. They never come into contact with customers. So like that's one thing that I think that is silly. I think that's one place where we can just help the economy out a little bit and still maintain the social distancing aspect. And there's a lot of other examples like that. But for the most part, I think this is, whoever was president, and that's what I'm talking about. The arguments about this, I think, are just foolish. There's no reason for it. It's not effective. It's not helping anything. The fact is, whether Barack Obama or Donald Trump or Joe Biden or George Bush or Hillary Clinton were president during this, the economy was going to take a massive hit. There's no way around that. There's nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've had people that are, that have argued, that, Trump set us up with blah, 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 and that's why this, whatever. It's going to happen. When you shut the fucking country down and 22 million people aren't working, things are going to go downhill a little bit. That being said, I'd love to see, now there was issues with it. There was some fighting. There was some shitty stuff done on both sides, in my opinion, but they were able to get this stimulus package through, which I think is awesome. That it's taken longer than it would have been nice to, if everybody got the, like you and Michelle, with the two of you with a couple kids. So what is that like? Did you guys get yours yet?
No, and we won't get ours for a long time, even if we do get one, because of the way everything's set up. It's all set up for people that get income taxes direct deposited. Well, first of all, I haven't gotten income taxes in 15 years.
Me neither.
I've paid income taxes for 15 years, so I don't have something set up to get money direct deposited to me. So I mean, it's a whole mess. So you do have people that are getting it, and it's great, but you have people that just are not going to get it. Most self-employed people aren't going to get it right away when they need it. The same thing with some of these bailouts that they have, like this paycheck thing that you talked about, this paycheck protection program thing that you and I talked about last week.
Right.
Not on Bob and Weave, but we just talked about last week. Literally, I get off the phone with you and look into it, and they've run out of money.
Yep.
So that's ridiculous. And the thing is, they're not even helping small businesses. They've given tons of money to huge businesses through this, and have just totally fucked small businesses. They gave $20 million to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. What the fuck? Then you have a ton of mom and pop shops that are going to close because we can't afford to stay open because of stuff like that.
Right. And I think that there's something to that. It definitely helps, or it's definitely helping the bigger businesses too. But there, I've looked a lot into it. And by the way, I don't know if you heard, but I think today they either passed the more funding for it, or are about to pass a bill to refund it, to keep it going again.
Good.
Because it was like $350 billion. So in a way, it worked. I mean, people applied for it, and there are limitations on it. So it's in order for that to be a forgiven loan, like a grant, you have to actually use that money to pay employees to keep them working. So it's not like with the Ruth's Chris thing. I get what you're saying. Like it's a big corporation and they're fucked. But it's not for them. What I mean? They're using in order for this for them to get it, they have to use that money to pay all of their employees that aren't working, which is you and me, normal people. It's not the big executives, and they put some limitations on there. One of them being that because obviously the executives and all these people, they can pay their salaries too, but it's capped. You could only get it to pay people that make $100,000 a year or less.
Okay.
So like if there's an executive that makes $1 million a year, he can't pay his salary with it. He can only pay the other workers with it. But it's what sucks is you had $350 billion, and when you take a $20 million hit from one company, that sucks. And they have the best accountants and everything, so I'm sure within 10 minutes they had that thing filed, and so they got in on the front end of it.
I'm sure. I'm not. I don't want to say that I'm totally dogging Ruth Chris, even calling them out by name or anything like that. I understand what they're doing, but you have, mom and pop shops across the country that aren't chains, that don't have this going. You know what I mean? That this is the full intention is for them. And it's just literally it's called a small business. Like it's in the title. I guess it's not in the title of the paycheck protection, but it talks about that.
backed by the Small Business Administration.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what gets me. I'll get real fired up about it, and I don't want to do that tonight. I want to have fun.
Yeah, me too. But and it's just, I think like to me, I agree with you to an extent, but like I said, I also, I try to look at, I'm trying to look at things as positive as possible, and they put some limitations in there like that so that big corporate greedy companies couldn't just come in and say, "Oh, I'm going to take all this money and use it." The only thing they can use it for is to pay the salaries of other people, of their employees, which are ordinary people. And hopefully this new, the nice thing is that it got, it got used. People used it and they replenished it, and they're going to put some more money in it. But it's just something to keep people working. That's a little more. It's basically, for those of you that don't know the Paycheck Protection Program, you can get a loan for 2 months worth, 8 weeks, 2 months worth of salaries for your employees. And if you keep your employees on staff and you pay them their salaries during those 2 months, whether they're working or not, then the loan's forgiven. And so that was put in there so that people can't abuse it. They can't get it and then just pocket it. If they do that, then they have to pay it all back. But if they that's why it wasn't just given away. It was set up as a loan that's forgiven if you do what you're supposed to do with it.
Yeah, which I mean, like I said, I think it's a great program. I think it could be a great program. I just think that it's frustrating. And I'm real frustrated about the whole thing.
Well, it's frustrating. And definitely get on it tomorrow. Check, because you should be. I believe today they approved the money, and they'll start taking applications again soon, I'm sure. But the frustrating part was that, they ran out of money right within a week. Like, as soon as everybody was like, "Oh, this is great. This will help me a lot," especially independent contractors. I told you about it. My friend Carrie, who was a hairstylist, I'm like, "Do this. You can get your salaries." And then like the next day, it's like, "Nope, we ran out of money."
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Sucks a lot. So it looks like we got one more serious one, then we can roll into some fun ones here.
Okay.
So John again asks, what permanent changes do you expect to occur from what we're going through, similar to the airport security changed after 9/11?
Man, I don't know. I hope nothing. And I that's a weird thing to say, but like, I don't like the way things are. Like, I don't like the fact that when I ran into my buddy from high school at the hardware store that I mentioned, that we never got within 6 feet of each other and never shook each other's hand,
Yeah.
and then I've run into like my very close friend when I was at a store last week, like a person that I would normally like, "Oh, it's great to see you," and give them a hug, that you can't do that. Obviously there's things like my family, like my mom, my dad, they're definitely in a high risk category. So I'm not having any contact with them. That stuff I'm sure will go away, but it's the way we're all acting when we're in public places like stores, grocery stores, that I think some of that may become the new normal. I hope it doesn't, just because I don't know. I'm an extrovert, and
you're talking about people kind of minding their own business. You almost, and I notice this too. You walk through the store, and people kind of don't even look at you. They look away when you walk past them. They're not talking to anybody.
It's eerie. Like,
so I do have a funny story here for you too.
Okay,
that comes up with all this. I have been doing the grocery shopping for my family and my grandparents since this whole thing has gone down. And in the time since then, since end of March, I have not had a single person at the store besides a cashier talk to me. Right. So the other day, Michelle sends me to the store to get something specific. Happens to be right next to the marshmallows is what she's wanting me to get. So it's marshmallow fluff, like in a can. She's trying to make something.
Right.
So it's right next to the marshmallows. I know exactly where they're at because I've literally stood in front of the marshmallows looking for this thing. I go 3 aisles down, and the first person to talk to me in a month and a half is a little old woman, and she asked me where the marshmallows were. And I was so thrilled because I actually knew where they were.
I just looked at them.
I literally just looked at them. What are the chances that the first person that talks to me in a month and a half asks me something I actually know?
Right. What are the chances of someone asking you something you actually know ever?
Exactly. I know. I was fucking blown away.
That's awesome. We're like, it's on aisle 2, about halfway down. It's going to be on the right side at about
exactly.
Level.
Bottom shelf.
Yeah.
Bottom shelf. Yeah. No, I had it all. No, I think, my feelings towards this moving forward, I think you're going to see a lot less large gatherings, lot less large festivals, that type of thing. I think that maybe not forever, but in the next couple years, you're not going to see Coachella. You're not going to see some of these huge music festivals. You're not, I think sporting events are going to be held differently once they return. I think they're gonna cut down on that, which maybe they won't. Obviously, it's a business and they're trying to make money. They're trying to pack those seats, but I think that you're going to have a lot of limitations on gatherings.
And I hope not. I mean, and I get it, but it's like, man, we've made it let's just talk about in the United States of America. We've made it for what, 225 years, being able to gather like that. And then this virus comes in and we've had to make these measures. I hope that doesn't change ever. I'm already bummed out because, that my wife for my birthday got me tickets to go see Tom Segura in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's May 30th. And when all this started, before, I'll say not everybody else, I wasn't taking this whole thing real seriously. I'm like, that's a flu, whatever. And so I was like, it's May 30th. And airline tickets went to the floor. The prices dropped dramatically. So I was like, sweet, so I snatched us up some plane tickets. I mean, round trip from South Bend, which for those of you who don't know, we have a small little airport right near my house that usually we don't fly out of because it's very expensive. It's cheaper to drive to Chicago and fly. Out of South Bend to Vegas, it was like $270 or something per ticket, or 216, something like that. Well, we just got an email day before yesterday that says they canceled the show.
Oh, that sucks.
And it just sucks. I was actually supposed to be in Vegas right now. I was going there to interview somebody for another story I'm working on. And so I already canceled those flights. But then this one, I just kept thinking, it's like, man, we're still, when it first started, it's like, we're still 2 months away. We're still a month, it's like now we're right now about 6 weeks away from it. And I was like, after May 1st, they're talking about, loosening up on some of the restrictions. Maybe we'll still be good. And then, nope, they canceled it. And I just think about that, not only for us, like you hate to not have those things. Once this is, once there's a vaccine or whatever science does to try to make it so, this is okay again. I hope this gets back to normal because, I just like the way things were, to be selfish about it. And then also,
me too.
Just think about those. I think about guys because Tom Segura's a guy. So for some of you that listen to our podcast and you feel like you have a relationship with us, which is awesome because we feel like we have a relationship with you that are listening. Yeah, I'm that way with Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer. Listen to that. Because I watched their Two Bears One Cave podcast on YouTube, and I watch Your Mom's House on YouTube. Just all their stuff, and you feel like those guys, and listening to them talk about how, man, I don't know when we're going to be able to perform again. And I don't know when we're going to be able to, if ever we're going to be able to do it. And it's just like, oh, that's, they're real people too that are, that's their job. It's their career. And everything's changing. So, I guess my answer to it is I just hope things go back to normal. I hope you're wrong, Zach. I fear that you're not, but I hope that
I hope I'm wrong too.
Yeah. I hope that we can get back to normal at some point. And I also feel like there's a weird thing, and I hate, I hesitate to say it because people think that I'm one of these Corona deniers or something. But I also feel like there's one thing that I feel is true is that you can't beat nature. I feel like we're doing all this and it's helping and it's taking the load. There's good reasons for it. It's taking the load off of the hospitals. It's freeing up hospital beds. It's slowing the spread, but ultimately, I feel like this virus is going to do what the virus wants to do. Once we come back,
I 100% agree.
Once we get back and, they start, so when they say next month or something, they say, you can go back to work. Okay. And everybody goes back to work. And then, this started with one person. It started with one infected. There was patient 0 in China. That's where it started. So as long as one person goes back out with it, I feel like, and maybe I'm just ignorant to how the science works, but to me, it's like, well, isn't it just going to happen again? The same thing?
Yeah.
So it was like, I feel like eventually it's going to, I'll have to edit that out. I belched. Stupid bush light. Or fuck it, leave it in. Who cares? It's Corona time.
It's Corona time.
But like I feel like eventually the illness is going to work its way through the population. Most people will get it and build up antibodies to it, and some people unfortunately are going to get it and they're not going to make it through. And then at some point, then you have just like all the other viruses out there. You have a population of people that, that are the people that are left are pretty much immune to it. Or we get the vaccines out and everybody gets vaccinated for it, and then everyone's immune to it. But that's if it's something like chickenpox. If it's something like the flu, it just keeps mutating. It'll happen over and over again. So I don't know. That's a depressing thought and a fun podcast, but to me, this thing is going to do what it's going to do, and we have to take measures to try to limit the effect of that. But eventually, like you're just not going to. I don't think you're going to stop it.
I concur.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right, let's move on. Fun time.
Let's talk about toilet paper or something. Damn, I made myself sad right there. Sorry, everybody.
John posted a fun thing here. Little Debbie recently did a bracket tournament for their treats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in their bracket, oatmeal cream pie beat Nutty Buddies. Now, he actually posted the brackets. Now, I don't know if you've seen this.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. So I love this idea because I am a fat kid at heart, and not a fat kid in real life.
Right.
So
I'm right. Believe me, I'm definitely a fat kid in real life.
Without going through step by step, what are your feelings on this?
Well, I'm going to go through it step by step. First of all,
you want to go step? Okay,
no.
Starting on the left side, 1 and 8.
So first up, you have oatmeal cream pies and Boston cream rolls.
I think that's an easy one. I mean, that's an easy one to me. That's oatmeal cream pies all day. That's too easy.
Oh, see, this is where we're going to lose fans and listeners and friends. I don't fucking like oatmeal cream pies.
How? They're the number one seed, man.
I don't know if we can still be friends. I've never liked them. I just never have.
Have you ever had a Boston cream roll?
But that was what I was going to say next is I've actually never had a Boston cream roll. So I don't know what that is.
So we're going to check up oatmeal cream pie for the win on that one.
Yeah. So I will concede the oatmeal cream pie win because I know that I can at least eat them. But I'm looking at that Boston cream roll. What is it, like a cake with like chocolate frosting? I probably would love that.
It looks like a Swiss roll, but just different.
Yeah, something like that. But we'll give oatmeal cream pie with a win there. And then we have the strawberry shortcake roll and the zebra cake. That's an easy one for me. I'm a zebra cake man.
I'm a zebra cake guy.
Yep. See you later, strawberry. Now, don't get me wrong. You put a strawberry shortcake roll in front of me, I'm eating that fucker. But not over a zebra cake.
Not over a zebra cake.
Yep. The next one seems pretty easy too.
It's the banana twins versus the chocolate cupcake. Yeah. I mean, the chocolate cupcake's legendary, right?
Yeah, it's a staple.
Yeah.
Although, have you ever taken a banana twin and dipped it in milk and ate it?
I've never had a banana twin.
Oh, it's pretty well. It's that totally that like artificial banana flavor. So you either like it or you don't. But you dip that in some milk and eat it. It's pretty fucking tasty. But
I'll be 100% honest. There's several on here that I'm like I've never seen before. So,
next we have the honey bun and the star crunch.
See, I'm pulling the upset on this one. I'm pulling the number 7 honey bun over the star crunch.
Oh, really? See, that's a bad matchup for me. Two reasons. One, I think that the honey buns. Well, I think they're gross. I don't like a honey bun. They're just when I open a honey bun, I look at it and I like this. Like I want it to be a delicious donut, and it's just fucking not. It's a waxy, nasty, dry. Like no, thank you. I do not like a honey bun.
I think if you get a fresh one, they're good. They're a lot more like a glazed donut.
Oh, they're like they're like prepackaged shitty glaze. They're not like a Krispy Kreme. Like when I see it, I want a Krispy Kreme, and it's not.
So you're picking a Star Crunch?
Well, this is my problem with it. Also, not a big fan of Star Crunches.
Yeah, me neither.
I grew up on it, but as I'm thinking about it, I remember as a kid eating them and liking them, but they weren't my favorite by far. And but now I'm thinking like, what were they? There's like chocolate and there's like Rice Krispies and there's like caramel in there. I don't remember everything.
Is there marshmallow to hold it together? I feel like there's marshmallow to hold it together.
I don't think so. I don't think
maybe I'm making shit up.
I'll go with you on the honey bun because really, out of this whole, I wouldn't choose either one of those.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, you'll give me one.
I'll concede the honey buns.
All right. I like that. I'll give it to you. So you want to go down? You want to stay on the same side? Or you want to go to the other?
Well, let's jump over to the other side in the first round. If you say donut sticks, we're not friends anymore.
No, it's definitely Nutty Buddy.
So it's Nutty Buddy versus donut sticks. Love a fucking Nutty Buddy. Donut sticks are not the same thing. They're you want them to taste like a donut, but they taste like gas station trash.
Yet never had one.
The next we have fudge rounds versus Christmas tree cakes. That's a tough one. Love them both. I'm going fudge rounds.
I'm going fudge rounds. I love fudge rounds.
I do
All-time favorite Little Debbie snack for me is a fudge round.
Me too. Dude, I'm right there with you. So we, as a kid, we always had, my dad, they would bring home, there were things he would bring home. There would be fudge rounds. He would get the Nutty Buddies, which I don't remember calling them Nutty Buddies. We called them Nutty Bars. But, and then my brother was the one that liked the Star Crunch. That's why we had those. And he liked my older brother liked the oatmeal cream pies, and I didn't. My things were the fudge rounds and the Swiss cake rolls were my favorites, and then Nutty Bars were a close third for me. But definitely fudge rounds over the Christmas tree cakes.
Fudge rounds all the way. Matter of fact, I can guilty pleasure say that I had a fudge round this week.
Are you shitting me?
I am not kidding you. I love those fucking things.
I haven't had one for a long time, but I remember, dude. Next time I'm in a gas station buying lottery tickets, I'm gonna get. See how funny that was.
Yes.
So we always got you get now. Did you have a box of them at the house, or did you just buy an individual one?
No, I bought an individual one at the gas station.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about, because the individual ones or the ones in the box are little, but the ones at the gas station are big. And didn't they used to have? Do they still have? They're like giant ones.
They have double deckers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you had?
Delicious. Oh yeah, double decker.
I swear to God, I'm going to the truck stop as soon as we're done recording this. I need a fudge round right now.
They're so good.
But they were up against the Christmas tree cakes, which, by the way, I also enjoy those. Very similar to the zebra cake. Basically, it is a zebra cake shaped like a Christmas tree. Yeah. But nothing beats fudge round. Now we're getting into so the cosmic brownies versus what is that, the marshmallow pies.
Yeah, fuck the marshmallow pies.
Nobody likes a marshmallow pie. It's gross.
Yeah. So cosmic brownie gets the pass.
Yep. My kids love cosmic brownies.
My oldest does.
And now I'm the next one. I am Swiss cake rolls, which were one of my all-time favorites. So that's going to win for me. I have a certain way to eat them. I'll talk about in a second. They're up against peanut butter crunch bars.
Never heard of her.
So I've seen them. I don't think I've ever had one.
Yeah, I never had one.
So when you get a Swiss cake roll, how do you eat it?
The honest to God truth, I eat all the chocolate off the outside, and then I unroll it and eat it by pieces.
We're brothers. You and me are brothers.
That's awesome.
I thought that was so unique that's the way I did it. But that's exactly what I would do. Take that waxy chocolate and you kind of peel it off all the way around. And then I would bite the ends off and then unroll it and then lick up the fucking the cream inside and eat it. That's the way you eat a Swiss cake roll.
I can't believe I just stole your thunder on that.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong if you haven't eaten a Swiss cake roll like that.
That is the best way for sure. 100%.
So moving on to round two. Now we've got oatmeal cream pies versus zebra cakes. That's tough because we're not gonna agree on this because that's zebra cakes for me, 100%.
You know what? I like oatmeal cream pies, but I'll concede one and give you zebra cakes.
Oh, you do enjoy a zebra cake?
Oh, I really do enjoy zebra cakes. I don't know if I honestly enjoy them more than the oatmeal cream pie, but we're playing ball here. So right. I'll give you one. You gave me one earlier. I'll give you one back.
All right. I think the cupcake beats the honey bun.
I agree.
All right, and then. What do we got? Nutty Buddy versus the fudge round. I think we both agree the fudge round wins.
Fudge round's going to the fudge round's going to that next round.
By the fudge, I think we were decided at this point the fudge rounds are going to win this fucking tournament.
I think so.
Yeah. Swiss cake roll beats cosmic brownies.
Correct.
I'll say the next round we've got zebra cakes versus the cupcakes. That's a tough one.
You know what? I think if in my opinion, it's zebra cakes over the Little Debbie's cupcakes because the Hostess cupcakes are better.
Okay, I'll agree with that. To me, it all depends on if I'm in the mood for chocolate or not.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I just think the host. If you go to the store and get them, the Hostess cupcakes are better than the Little Debbie cupcakes.
that's interesting. I need to do the Pepsi challenge when I go to the truck stop tonight to get my fudge round and get a Hostess and a Little Debbie cupcake and see which one is better.
Yeah, just my opinion, but I think that's where it's at.
We'll see. I'll do the Pepsi challenge. But so we have the zebra cakes win out on the left side of the bracket. On the right side, we got the fudge rounds now versus the Swiss cake rolls. Two of my absolute favorites, but fudge rounds take the win for me.
100% fudge rounds take the win for me.
And then the fudge rounds obviously then beat the zebra cakes.
You can't beat them.
You know, I think
can't beat them.
I think they're underrated. You know, people were talking about all these other ones, but like the fudge round, if you've never had a fudge round, it's fucking amazing.
They're
soft,
so good.
It's like soft, chewy chocolate cookies with chocolate whipped cream in between them, and then something about those little candy stripes they put the stripes they put on top. It's kind of a little crunchy chocolate as a little texture. That's the shit. And
it is.
I'm getting me a double decker so fast tonight. That's happening.
I'm so happy you're going.
I'm gonna post it. It's funny is because this will post in 2 days. The video and the audio of this, but I'm putting on our Instagram tonight me eating a fucking fudge round.
Excellent. So the next question comes from Ashley, and it's directed at me. This is, what's the most ridiculous thing that someone has asked you to tattoo on them? So this is a 2-part question. So the first part, really, really simple for me. Man, I've been tattooing a long time, but it was probably 12 or 13 years ago. I had a young lady come in, and I was sitting up front, kind of waiting around, and she asked if I could tattoo some lettering on her. And I absolutely tattoo some lettering on you, no big deal. What do you want it to say? She says, I want lettering on the lower back. I want lettering on the lower back that says, money makes me come. Now, I did not believe that's what she said. In my head, I was like, there's no possible way that is what she just told me. You know, that's too far out there. So I said, oh, no problem. I got up and I gave her a pen and paper, and I said, just write down, just make sure you spell it right. Write down what you want it to say. And she wrote it down again. Money makes me come.
How did she spell come?
Now, C-U-M, the way you'd think. Yep. So with that being said, talking to her, she's actually, I worked in South Bend, Indiana at the time, and she actually was a stripper. I mean, you could have probably possibly figured that out. However, I'll 100% give it to her. She stripped in Atlanta and could work one weekend a month in Atlanta stripping and come back to South Bend and live the rest of the month out of what she made. So I'll give it to her.
No shit. And she must have had a body fit for an exotic dancer.
Yeah, an okay one.
I mean, I'm not into that kind of thing. Not women. I'm going to shut up. I'm not into strip clubs is what I was trying to say, but it was getting weird.
All right. So her second part of the question is, what's the most meaningful tattoo you've ever done? That's a strange one to ask because it's hard to have a meaningful tattoo. I mean, there's so many meaningful tattoos I've done. I've done tattoos for loved ones that have passed away. I've done so many different tattoos, but I think a process that I went through, at some point, my shop did a tattoos for a cure benefit. We did cancer ribbon tattoos. We donated all the proceeds to the local, it's the Berrien County Cancer Service, helps local patients with services they can't afford. So that was the whole plan. Is the first year we did it, it was very important to us. We wanted to do this. We wanted to help give back. Well, by the time the second year rolled around, my mother had breast cancer. So the event took on a whole new meaning to me. You know, it was a lot more personal the second year. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, maybe not necessarily that there was a tattoo that was super meaningful, but just the whole idea behind it. You know, I've had friends pass from cancer. My mother-in-law passed from cancer. My father-in-law, my father is actually battling cancer right now. I mean, it's there's a lot that goes on there. So, I mean, tattoos can be healing.
You do that event every year still, don't you?
We have not done it in a couple years. strictly because it's not that I don't want to do it. It is very time consuming and we have to jump through a ton of hoops to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I am super busy, and it's not that I don't want to, it's that I forget to start the train rolling when I need to get it rolling. So in order for us to do this event in October, I have to get the ball rolling in June in order to get it done. And typically I remember that we do the event in about September.
Right. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not that we don't want to do it. And it's not that I'm trying to say that I'm too busy to do it. I absolutely love to do it. It's just that there's so many, you would never believe that donating money like that, there's so many hoops to jump through because we're a business and donating money in a large sum of money. It's not just a personal donation that we literally have to go to board meetings in order to be approved to give them money.
Right. Wait, I used to do that when I worked with my buddy Doug Myers on the he did the burn run, the motorcycle run donated to the Great Lakes Burn Camp. And I was their treasurer for a couple of years, and yeah, it's pretty crazy the process they go through to make something like the same thing. You know, we were a 501c3 corporation, and then would make the donation to the camp for burn victims, and it's a process.
Yeah, I never would have guessed it was that much of a process to do. You know, the first year we did it, we didn't even know. The first year we did it, we just set up and did it, and then when we went to give them the money, and they were like, "Whoa." Hold your horses.
Bucko.
You're like, what? I can't just give you a check for the money we made? No, you can't.
God, that's crazy. Can I tell you something?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's fucking hot in here. You know how it gets hot in here? I'm about to, and I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I'm about to Bert Kreischer the last few minutes of this podcast.
Oh, that's awesome. You probably should. You probably should for the viewers at home.
I'm doing it. I'm sweating. For all you viewers, if you don't know who Bert Kreischer is, look him up because he does exactly what I'm about to do.
Yes, and it's awesome.
Oh, I'm sweating to death, dude. Ugh. Yeah, there we go.
Are you naked yet?
Welcome to the show, folks.
Yes.
I think, Zach, you, fuck, let's leave the hat off with the messy hair. Let's rock this thing out.
All right, I'm taking my shirt off.
That's right. This will make great cover art for the for the episode. Both of us shirtless making a fucking podcast. We should have done this from the beginning.
Yeah, all right. We're both shirtless.
That feels so much better.
This has gotten weird and fun. So
good thing we're not in the same room.
Next question from Angel says, thoughts on the movie Contagion versus the COVID-19 pandemic.
Man, I saw this one, and I gotta be honest with you. If I've seen Contagion, I don't remember it.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie, and I have no idea.
Sorry, Angel. Good question for smarter people, but we're not.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Jason says, Jason Kalu. Let's just call him Jason. Jason's very active on the fan page. Jason. He's messaging all the time. Love me some Jason. He says, what's the best thing you've watched during quarantine, and have you gotten your quarantine haircuts yet?
So if you listen to Bob and Weave or you're behind the scenes on Bob and Weave, you'll know that I got a haircut the other day, a drunk haircut. Well, I was drunk, and my 9-year-old cut my hair.
I can't wait. Are you probably wearing a hat right now, aren't you?
I am wearing a hat. Yes.
Well, take it off because I want to see when I watch this video, when you send this to me, what you look like with your 9-year-old haircut.
Yeah. It actually looks pretty good. I got my hat off. I'm kind of showing everybody right now. Doesn't look too terrible.
I have a confession to make. It's gonna make people really upset, maybe some people, but I did get a haircut, and I had my friend Carrie cut my hair at her house.
Dun.
We were talking about something, and I was like, God, my hair is a mess. And she's like, well, I'm desperate. You know, she's like, trying to file. Have you tried to file unemployment?
Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah, so was hers. And she's just like, I'm just trying to pay my. And I was like, well, I'll come over there. And I'm like, have any of you been sick or gone anywhere? I haven't. I'm going to go over there and let you cut my hair. And so I have a haircut. Doesn't matter because I'm wearing that Cromer hat 24/7 just to piss Becky off. So it's.
All right, so he asked if we watched anything good.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I've watched some stuff. I haven't watched anything that I was particularly thrilled with. You know what we're watching?
Have you watched the new?
What's
Have
that?
you watched the new Tiger King update?
There's an update?
There's a new episode of Tiger King hosted by Joe McHale, and he interviews people from the show, and it makes the whole show worth watching.
I did not know that, but I'm watching that shit tonight. So if I just go to the Tiger King on Netflix, that's just a new episode?
There's a new episode, and he asks the questions like you or I would ask, like important ones. Like he asked Jeff Lowe how many Affliction t-shirts he owns.
I almost just spit beer all over my computer.
Yeah. Oh man, my wife and I died laughing watching it.
Did they ask the other dude why he was in the fucking bathtub for the interview?
They talk about it. So that guy is not on there, but they ask one of the other people why, like what they thought about him being in the bathtub.
That's awesome. You know what I was gonna say was it's an oldie but a goodie I've never seen. I don't know how I've never even heard of it before, but Becky and I started watching Community. Have you seen that?
Oh, love Community. Love Community.
Oh, dude, it's so funny. Like Chevy Chase, it's fucking fantastic. So I guess we've just been, at night laying around binging Community. We're on like somewhere in the second season right now, but I'm enjoying that. Obviously, the Tiger King was interesting, but nothing to really knock your socks off yet. But
so have you seen Abed and Troy do their handshake?
Yeah,
yeah. Me and the boys do that. That's our handshake.
Nice.
Yeah. We watched the follow up to the R. Kelly, the second part of the R. Kelly series. That's the recent thing we watched. Pretty upsetting. I mean, it's pretty intense. Caught a few things that were interesting that I don't think a lot of people would catch in the show, but I thought the show was really good.
Okay, I was reading something else and forgot what you were talking about. What show?
The show, the Surviving R. Kelly.
That's right. Because right when you said it, I was thinking Becky watched that, and I haven't seen it. I didn't see the first season or whatever, or the second one. It's too depressing to me. I just can't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. The one thing I caught, and this might piss some people off, and I'm not trying to piss people off. I genuinely feel for everybody in that show. I think it's horrific. I think R. Kelly's a piece of shit. You can tell the narrative of the filmmakers that made the show. The big thing about the narrative of the film was black girls matter. Supremely important. These black women have not got justice. There is a white victim that's in there that just totally gets blown away. They talk about her for about a minute and a half, and she never gets brought up again in the whole entire series. When they go through the victims montage, they never show her. It's things like that it just didn't fit the narrative of the Black Girls Matter.
Uh-huh.
So I caught it right away. Not trying to be, one of those people. It's just one thing I noticed.
That's good, racist. Let's move on.
And that's exactly. I didn't want to say because I genuinely feel for those girls, and I didn't. It just was one of those things where I was feeling like it should be about women. Period.
Right.
Protecting these women. And this woman that I'm talking about, there's stories of, she has a story of not only a story, but a filed story of him ripping the necklace off of her and scratching her and cutting her. And they found her in the parking lot crying, bleeding all over the place, so she has a horrific story too. And they just kind of blew her off because she didn't fit the narrative of the rest of the show.
Right. The theme of the series.
Yeah.
All right, so we're coming up on my having a pee time, and we're over an hour, so let's move on to the next question. Becky Pennick Fancher says to follow up.
I would say Fancher
with my. Why would I say Fancher? What? It's it looks like a very easy name to pronounce, and I made it more fucking difficult for no reason.
You really did. Why don't we just go with their first names?
Her name is Becky is Becky Pennick Fancher. She says to follow up with my same question as before, but with a twist. What is your pet peeve specifically related to this pandemic?
Gloves. People wearing fucking rubber gloves because they don't understand cross-contamination.
Right. I was going to say the same thing in a different way because Becky's bitched about that too, but it's not quite the same as me, and because you're talking about how you're cross-contaminating everything, but she was making it seem like it was making it like it's worse to wear the gloves, and for me, like it's not worse. It's the same as if you touch it with your hand. All these different things. It's just a waste of a glove. You're not effectively doing anything if you touch different things with the same glove.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's a stupid pet peeve, but the fucking masks are killing me. And they're great. Like some states say you have to wear them, and you probably should. But something about when I walk into the store and the people with the masks on, I don't know, like loser.
You know what else has been killing me? That's not.
Wish you would have laughed at
not
that.
part
And
of
made
this.
it funnier than.
Sorry, I was thinking about this. This is something that has been a huge pet peeve of mine that has nothing to do with the pandemic, but has everything to do with you. Not you per se.
What's that?
Do you know? I feel like our listeners, a mass of our listeners are Truth and Justice listeners, but they're the awesome listeners. And they're the ones that are going to understand what I'm going to say. Do you know how many times a day I see people asking where the other parts of your TV show are and how tired of it I am?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, how tired of it you are. They're tagging me
I know.
in all of them. You know what? That's my biggest pet peeve of the coronavirus. And I've answered it over and over and over again. And it was because, obviously, for those who don't know, that didn't watch the show or whatever, that we recorded a 4-episode series, 4 1-hour episodes. Oxygen chose to air that as 2 2-hour episodes. And within the episodes, they said part 1, the victims, part 2, memories, part 3, whatever. There were 4 parts. And so on the podcast, as I'm covering each part, I just did part 4. They're like, why is there no part 4 on the show? And all I'm thinking is, motherfucker, if you watched the show and you listened, you know that what I'm talking about, you already saw.
Oh. All right. I'm glad we're on the same page on that one.
Yeah, I'm with you. All
right. So Tony says, so being a Star Wars fan, this is directed at you.
Right.
Being a Star Wars fan, did you get to meet Werner Herzog?
No, and I'm going to be pretty ignorant here, but I think it's a different Herzog.
I think it is too, honestly.
Yeah, so Herzog and Company that produced my show, that's Mark Herzog is the guy that owns that. And they've won a ton of, like they're award-winning documentarians. They did the decade, so if you watch on CNN or Netflix, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, all those, history of comedy, all those were all produced by Mark Herzog. I don't know or think that there's any relation between him and Werner Herzog.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there is either.
So I did.
I think we're going to pull one more question, and then I'm going to cut her off because it's Kelly and we love her, but
it's long.
We're going to cut her off. So we're going to go on the light question. She says, favorite band or singer to see live?
Eric Church.
Eric Church, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
He is. I love his music. I love his style. I love that he writes his own music. For those of you that don't know him, he's a country guy, a modern country guy. But he's one of those guys that like every song that he sings, I relate to. He's just kind of a country boy like me. And just really, really loves music, love his songwriting. And then when I've seen him live in concert, he is just a blast, like energetic, loves what he's doing, very interactive with the crowd. And then I saw him last year in October, and then 2 years before that, we saw him. And in both of those, he did tours where he had no opening act. He played for the first time we went 2 hours, took an intermission for a half hour, came back out, did another 2 hours, all him. And then after that, came back out for the encore and just did like a jam session with the crowd, like literally people shouting out to him and the band songs they want him to play, like cover songs, and we're playing him.
All right.
I think he's a cool guy. Love his music. Love his songwriting. Love him live.
That's a good one. And you said that made me think of when we saw Rush. Rush did that. Rush played for about an hour and a half, took intermission, then played for about another 2 hours after that. And it was really funny because at the time we saw Rush, this was 2012. They're old. They even said, like, we're taking an intermission because we're old.
Right.
But it was amazing when they played by themselves. That was an amazing set. Neil Peart, rest in peace, Neil Peart. But, he did a 10-minute drum solo. And I mean, the whole thing was amazing to watch. But I think if I really had to narrow it down, I'd say Rob Zombie. I've seen Rob Zombie a couple times live. He puts on an amazing show. It's not just the music. I mean, they put on a whole show, and it's fun to watch.
Rob Zombie, huh? I would never think. See,
Yes.
anytime I've gone to like some music that I like that I would never go see live. For example, I love the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Love me some ska.
I love Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
I went and saw them live in Denver when I lived in Colorado. Most miserable experience of my life. A Mighty Mighty Boss Tones concert is a giant fucking mosh pit.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I've been to a few of those.
And mind you, I wasn't an old man then. I was like 20. But I was like, like there was no seats. It was a big open stadium floor. And it's just like, you couldn't enjoy the music because everybody's just banging into you and sweating. Like, that shit should never happen again. Hopefully the Corona does away with that shit. But
God, you're an old man.
do you like doing a mosh pit, or did you?
No, I don't enjoy that. But I've been to enough shows that have had them.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to shows where like they break out and they have them like on the floor, but they're still like, if you're in like a normal seat, you can still sit there and watch or stand there and sing whatever, watch a concert.
Yeah.
I've seen Bush in concert and it was kind of like that. Or actually, excuse me, Bush was a big outdoor concert. That was awesome. I saw fuck. Why am I drawing a blank on their name? Their symbols, the American flag upside down. I really don't like what they.
The symbol is the American flag upside down.
I can't believe I can't pull their name.
I have no idea who you're talking about off the top of my head.
Oh God! Ugh. Now I have to look it up.
I mean, I've seen. I have a huge variety of music I like. I've seen a lot of different people, a lot of different styles of music. I was at a Slayer concert that they had to stop the concert because the mosh pit got out of control. That I've seen that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been to a concert. One of my favorite memories from a concert is I took my wife to go see one of her favorite bands, which is Theory of a Dead Man, on her birthday in Lansing, and the lead singer fell off the stage.
Oh,
yep, he walked right off the catwalk, walked right off the end of the stage. You can find video if you just look it up.
that's great. Sorry, I was half listening and looking. I can't find. Dude, this is so stupid. Like this band, this driving me nuts because it's like I know the band. They're a popular band. Or at least they were a popular band, and I'm just drawing a complete blank. But anyway, who fucking cares?
It is what it is.
Yep.
Bob, it has been fun catching up with you, staying corona free. At least I'm corona free. I don't know if you are. I can't see you. I am definitely 6 feet away from you, which sucks.
At least I'm 6 feet away from my camera, so I definitely 6 feet away from you. I was just thinking this is super comfortable. Maybe we should, even when we're back in the studio together again, we should just do all the podcast shirtless.
I'm fine. I'm shirtless. We can do this.
All right. With all that being said, Zachary, thank you for being my friend.
I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man. Love you guys. We'll see you sometime. Hopefully next week. We'll see how it goes. Take care.
And boom.